You guys know that one of my favorite things about living in the UK is not the weather. But what it does do is that it gives us plenty of time to unbox new stuff. Okay, so let's start by having a quick look at the pedal itself. Very nice construction as usual with the Laney stuff. This is a 2-channel amp with an extra boost. So the channels are selected with a very nice foot switch here. Here you have gain 2 and here you have gain 1. You have a 3-band EQ with bass, middle and treble. Very cool, so you can adjust your tone accordingly. Gain 1 is slightly more vintage sounding. You can select a rhythm, clean or lead position here. The gain is very responsive. You can also get some clean headroom if you put the volume up and the gain down, and you get quite a bit of headroom. It's not the sparkliest of amps, but you don't go to Laney for sparkly clean amps. The boost pedal is very nice to add on an extra layer, so it pushes both amps, whichever one you're selecting. Channel 2 is a lot more modern sounding. Very, very chuggy. It does chug. It's also very nice to put the gain down on channel 2 as well, because you get a different flavor of distortion to channel 1. So it's more modern, great for solos, ideal if you want to run your rhythm tracks on the vintage, for example. And when you want a solo, you change it to gain 2 and use that as a solo. You could even boost level 2 when you're soloing. Great way of adding essentially 3 different layers. So you've got 2 channels plus a boost. So fantastic setup here. In terms of connections, again, very nice. Straight wall plug. You've got earphones, plug-in. You can plug in your favorite MP3 players. No, they don't exist anymore. You can plug in your phone, whatever you listen music to, and jam along with that. Extra cool function here is you have the connections with or without cab simulation to go straight into your recording DAW, or if you're going straight to the PA, you don't need to use a load box, nothing like that. Very, very nice to have. On the side, what we have is an effects loop, which I keep saying I don't understand why companies don't put these in everything. Effects loop is a must for your time-based delays. Then you have your normal cabinet connection to link it up to an actual cab. Input is here, and that is it. Okay, so having looked at the specs briefly, let's plug in and see what this can do. Do a variety of sounds, and then we will draw our conclusions as usual. Before I forget, for this sound demo, I am using my vintage V6 Icon because it has a humbucker and single coil pickups. I wanted to see how this amplifier reacts to different types of pickups. And for this demo, I am going straight into my audio interface and then into my DAW. I've added no post EQ, no effects, straight as clean, signal-wise as you can get. Bam! Okay, guys, so hopefully you enjoyed those sound samples. So let's move on to our final thoughts and conclusions. I was very excited when I saw the press release by Laney. Laney, by the way, aren't aware of this video, but I am a big fan of Laney, of the Ironheart sound, of a lot of their older, late 90s, early 2000 amplifiers. Very, very good sound. They have a distinct character. It's a historic brand, so, we have to respect that. But what I was really excited about with regards to this product was the fact that they were trying to get into a specific niche that a lot of different brands are doing. A lot of them we've reviewed on this channel. Go check out my playlist on small but huge sounding amplifiers. And they were doing things, I think, slightly differently to others. They were concentrating, I think, and what I got from the press release on actual what the player wants and what is fundamental for the player. Having said that, I find that having a 60 watt solid state amp this size that you can put on your pedal board to go to rehearsal or to play live gigs with a very consistent sound because you have the ability of going straight to PA is incredible. So I really like that they've kind of covered the first base, which is a live gigging musician guitarist, someone who goes out to rehearsals, practices, etc., and needs something reliable like this. The second bit, which I find they hit right on the head, is as a tool for a recording guitarist, as a tool for a home recording guitarist, or someone who just enjoys playing at home, whether you're beginner, intermediate, or pro, whatever it can be. Even if you have a pro recording studio, I think this is a very, very valuable tool. And I think it's clear that they had this in mind because you have obviously the emulated output, which is fantastic. But one of the first things that I look for a pedal of this kind is the ability to turn off that emulation. So I want to be able to, yes, use what Laney's giving me, but I also want to be able to mix and match. So use Celestion IRs, use 2Notes, whatever programs I want whilst I'm recording a tune. I want to have the ability to do that. So I really appreciate that you can turn off the emulation, and that for me is a must. And I think Laney covered that very, very well. It's very simple, but it's something that sometimes a lot of companies, I'm not looking at anything, miss out. So they force you with the line out to either use their emulation or you have to run it with the normal cab through a load box. So for me, that is a must. Third and final, which you'll probably see is a recurring theme in some of my videos, I want to have an effects loop. You need to have an effects loop. You cannot get great time-based effects in front of your amp. You can, but you need to mess around with it a little and they'll never sound good. So for me, they thought about the musician, they thought about the guitarist, and it's actually made for the player. So I really appreciate that they included this often on these types of amplifiers. So portable amps, small amp heads, especially under the $200 category, which this is firmly in, is often overlooked for whatever reason, whether it's cost, technology, whatever it is. I don't know why, but whether it's Orange, whoever it can be, Hughes and Kettner, whoever, they often leave out the effects loop. So this goes to show that Laney, personally, I think that they hit it right on the head with creating a product that is not trying necessarily to revolutionize anything, but it's just taking exactly what a working musician and what a bedroom musician is, what a home recording musician is, what's their fundamental things that they look for in a small, inexpensive amplifier. And this for me ticks all those boxes. So well done, Laney, for actually listening to your customers, I think. Well done, Laney, for not reinventing anything, not trying to be super fancy, but just using the incredible tones and the heritage that they have, especially in this series, and applying it to a product that is simple but has everything that a musician, guitarist will want. And you can also see that thought process, I think, through the way the channels, you can select the two channels, you can add on the boost. For example, they didn't put a reverb, but I would gladly use a reverb pedal and have the inbuilt boost. For me, they just used their common sense, used their understanding of guitar players, and built a very, very good thing. Now, this is a very versatile pedal, actually. So, as I said in the intro, Gain 1 is very vintage sounding. And for someone like myself, like some of you that like those hard rock, 70s, rock and roll, vintage sounds, I found that Gain 1 was fantastic. It went into that Led Zepp, it went into that AC/DC kind of area really, really well. Great. I like how they gave you the variety of the two different channels because they do sound different and they do give you different things. I specifically loved playing lead on Gain 2 with a little more distortion, higher up on the neck. And again, it's putting the player in a live scenario because with a tap of your foot, you can use it to change channels really easily and moving from the chorus to the solo, whatever it is, and you get that sound. That's all you need. So without tap dancing too much on different pedals, this has the basics. So for me, the Loudpedal delivers in functionality, but also tone. The tone is warm. It's not artificial. Yes, it's a solid state. There's no magical tubes in it, but it sounds really good. Most importantly, I came from doing, as some of you may have seen, some plugins recently. They all sound fantastic. I think the sound now has gotten so good on plugins and various different type of modelers that the sound is not really an issue. But what, for me, this sets it apart is the feel. And obviously, it's quite difficult for me to relate that to you as a viewer. But the feel of actually playing through this, the way the guitar responds, the way it reacts, the way the tone and the volume react to lowering them is miles apart from any of the emulations or any of the Kempers, XFXs, whatever. They've nailed that classic Laney Ironheart sound in this format. It's very simple. So overall, who is this pedal for? I think this pedal is for everyone. I think this pedal is for pro recording musicians. I think this pedal is for beginners. I think this pedal is actually one of the most solid pedals and amplifiers that I've seen because you can use it in front of your amp as a pedal, as an overdrive or distortion. So for me, it's an incredibly solid, versatile, player-focused amplifier in a pedal format. So, you know, people use the word game changer a lot, and it kind of implies something that revolutionizes the world of guitar, amplifiers, etc. I don't want to use the word game changer because I don't think it applies to this product. But what I do think this pedal does is it just takes every single thing that is good, is great about Laney amps and puts it into this format. For me, there's nothing better. This is exactly what I want companies with historic backgrounds like Laney to do. Just do what they know how to do and do it really well. And that's exactly what they have done. I absolutely love this pedal. So I'll put the links below. Please go on the website, on the Laney website. It's really good. Guys, it's less than $200. I think I'm so surprised. And this is going to find its way in tons of pro musician setup. I can assure you that. So don't miss out. Please subscribe if you want to see more reviews. If you don't, subscribe anyways because it helps me. And see you later. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching as usual. And I am going to play some more. See ya.